Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Blake, and I'm thrilled to be your host for today's episode. Get ready to dive into some of the most complex and important issues of our time. We're going to explore thought-provoking ideas and engage in some really dynamic discussions. If you are working towards a C1 level of English, then you are in the perfect place. This series will challenge you, it will expand your understanding, and it will also improve your language skills. In this episode, we will be focusing on some of the key topics that are affecting our lives and impacting the world around us. This will include the ethics of AI, the future of work, social media's impact on mental health, the role of art in society, and the challenges of globalization. We're not going to shy away from difficult subjects. Instead, we will be looking at all the different viewpoints, and we're going to be listening carefully to all the different arguments. This isn't just about passively listening. You will be developing your critical thinking skills. You will be expanding your vocabulary. And most importantly, you will be learning how to use your English language skills to express complex ideas with fluency and clarity. We will be listening to multiple speakers, and they will all be sharing their own unique viewpoints on all of these different subjects so that we can get a real overview of the issues. And of course, there will be real-time responses so that we can challenge each other and explore these fascinating subjects together. Remember, there are no easy answers, and the goal here is to expand our understanding and develop our abilities. Are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and to really explore these topics with me? Then let's begin. Our first topic is the ethics of artificial intelligence, or AI. What responsibilities do we have when we are creating these intelligent machines? What are the real dangers, and what are the potential benefits? Here is a conversation between three experts discussing their opinions. Speaker 1. I think that it is very important for us to consider the ethical implications of AI. We need to make sure that we are creating these machines in a way that is responsible and in a way that is fair for everyone. If we don't put proper measures in place now, we could be creating machines that are very dangerous in the future. The technology is getting so powerful that we really need to be careful. Speaker 2. I completely agree that we need to be responsible. However, we also need to consider all of the incredible possibilities that AI can bring to our society. It can help with medicine, it can help with climate change, and it can improve our lives in so many different ways. So, I think we need to consider all the benefits and not just the dangers. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree that there are many advantages, and that AI can be a very useful technology, but we still need to be incredibly careful about where we use it. I'm worried about how AI is used in everyday life, I'm worried about data protection, and I'm also worried about bias being programmed into AI without our knowledge, so I am a little apprehensive about it. Speaker 1. Those are very good points. We need to make sure that there is transparency. We need to understand how the machines are learning and how they are making decisions. We also need to be very clear about the laws that govern these new technologies. Speaker 2. But I think the technology is moving so fast that we can't put too many restrictions on AI because that will slow down the progress. It is important to be responsible, but we must let the technology develop and grow. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree, but there are ethical standards, and we must keep those in mind. I would like AI to benefit everyone and not just a few, so how can we make sure that happens? So, that was an interesting discussion about the ethics of AI. There are many different points of view, which is very important to consider to get a real understanding of this very complicated subject. Let's move on to the next segment. Our next topic is the future of work. How are automation and artificial intelligence changing the workplace? What skills will be important in the future, and how can we prepare ourselves for all the changes that will be happening? Here is a discussion between three people who are discussing their opinions. Speaker 1. I think that the future of work is going to be very different from the way it is now. I think there will be so much more automation and that computers will be doing a lot of the jobs that people do now. This will mean that people will have to learn new skills to adapt to the changes. Speaker 2. I completely agree that technology is changing very fast and that jobs will look different. But I also think that new jobs will be created and that we will be able to use AI to help us do the tasks that we don't want to do. I believe that technology can be used to improve our work lives if we plan properly. Speaker 3. Yes, I also think that technology can improve our work lives, but I think that many people will need to be retrained in order to get the skills that they need. It will also be very difficult for people who don't have any skills in technology, so I am a little worried that there will be a growing divide in our society. Speaker 1. Yes, I completely agree with that. We need to make sure that everyone has access to the right training, and it will be very important to focus on education. We will need to teach new skills to the next generation so they can make the most of these new opportunities that will be available. Speaker 2. I also think that it will be important to be creative and innovative. We will need to be flexible, and we will need to learn how to adapt to new situations as they arise. We will need to be problem solvers and critical thinkers. Speaker 3. Yes, those are great skills to have, but I do think that people will need support from the government and from employers because we can't expect them to do everything themselves. That was a very interesting discussion about the future of work. What do you think? How are you preparing for the future of work? Let's move on to the next topic. Our next topic is about the impact of social media on our mental health. Social. Media is now such a big part of everyday life for so many people, but is it good for us? What are the dangers of using social media, and what are the benefits? Let's listen to this discussion between 3 experts. Speaker 1. I think it is very clear that social media has had a significant impact on our mental health. I think that it is very dangerous because people are always comparing themselves to other people. They are seeing very unrealistic portrayals of people, and this causes a lot of anxiety and also a lot of feelings of sadness and of failure. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that there can be a lot of negative effects, but I think it can also be a positive thing too. It can help people to connect with others all around the world, and it can also help them to find communities who have similar interests to them. It can also be a great platform for creativity too, so I think that there are many different aspects to it. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree that there are both good and bad aspects to it, but I think that the younger generation are particularly vulnerable, and that social media can have a very negative effect on young people's mental health and also their self-esteem. They can be so easily influenced, and it is hard to know what is real and what is not. Speaker 1, yes, I agree with you about the younger generation, and I think that we need to educate children and young people to use social media safely and responsibly, and also to know the dangers of using social media too much. Speaker 2, I also think that we need to have a much more open conversation about mental health so that people know where they can go for help and support. And we need to try to create a much more inclusive and supportive online world. Speaker 3. Yes, that's a very important point. And we also need to educate ourselves on how to use social media responsibly so that we are all looking after our mental health and each other's mental health too. That was a really important conversation about social media and mental health. What do you think? What is your opinion? Let's move on to the next segment. Our next topic is the role of art in society. Why is art important? What is the purpose of art? And what does it contribute to our world? Let's listen to this discussion between 3 experts. Speaker 1. I believe that art is absolutely essential in any society. Art allows us to express our emotions, our ideas, and our beliefs in ways that we can't do in any other form. It can also be a reflection of the times that we are living in, and it can also have a lasting impact on people. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that art is very important, but I think that not everyone has access to art, and I think that everyone should have the opportunity to see art and also to create art. It shouldn't only be for certain people, it should be for everyone. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree that art should be accessible for all, and I think that art can be a powerful way to create dialogue and to create change in the world. It can be a great way to address political or social issues, and it can also change the way people think about things. Speaker 1. I also think that art can be a great way to bring communities together. It can help people to feel more connected to each other and also to feel more connected to their communities. Art can be a very powerful force for good. Speaker 2. Yes, and I also think it's important to remember that it's not just about beautiful things or sculptures or paintings. It can also be about music, dance, and film, and many other things. We need to support all types of art. Speaker 3. Yes, exactly. Art is for everyone, and everyone has the right to express themselves in a creative way, whatever medium that may be. What an interesting discussion. What do you think about the role of art in our society? How does art impact your life? Let's move on to our final topic today. Our last topic for today is about the challenges of globalization. Globalization is the process of the world becoming more connected, but are there some negative aspects as well as positive aspects to this process? What are the issues that we need to consider? Let's listen to the discussion of 3 experts. Speaker 1. I think that globalization has been a very important process in our history, and it has had many positive impacts, such as increased trade, access to different cultures, and the creation of many new jobs. However, there are many challenges that we need to consider, and we cannot ignore them. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that globalization has some very positive effects. However, it also has some negative effects on the environment and on the different cultures that make up our world. I think that it can be a threat to unique cultural identities and that we need to do more to protect all different cultures in our world. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with that. And I also think that globalization can increase inequality, it can make some very rich, and it can leave some people very poor and vulnerable. So we need to be aware of these issues. Speaker 1. I also think that we need to consider the issue of exploitation of workers, which has happened because of globalization, and we need to think about how we can ensure that there are fair wages and fair working conditions for all. Speaker 2. Yes, I agree. And we need to try to make globalization a more fair and more equal process, and to ensure that the benefits are shared by everyone. Speaker 3. Yes, and we need to focus on sustainability too, because if we don't look after the planet, then there will be many more issues for all of us, now and in the future. What a fascinating and important discussion about the challenges of globalization. What do you think? How do you see the process of globalization impacting your life? What are the things that we should all be thinking about? Thank you so much for joining me today and for listening to all of those interesting discussions. All right, everyone, let's continue with our discussions on these complex and fascinating topics. Our next topic is about the influence of popular culture. What is popular culture? How does it influence our society? And how does it shape our world? Views? Let's listen to a discussion with 3 different experts. Speaker 1. I think that popular culture is very powerful because it shapes so much of what we do and what we believe. It can be in the form of music, fashion, films, or TV programs, and it all impacts people's lives. We can be so influenced by the things that we see, hear, and experience every day. Speaker 2. Yes, I agree that it's very powerful, but I also think that it can be a very good thing because it can help people to have a shared experience, and it can help people to come together, and it can be a lot of fun. Speaker 3. I also agree that it can be a source of connection and joy, but I think it's also important to be very critical about the things that we are seeing and hearing. Because popular culture is so powerful, it can also spread a lot of negative and harmful messages, and we need to be aware of that. Speaker 1. Yes, I agree that we need to be critical. We need to be active and not passive in how we consume popular culture. We need to be aware of what we are seeing and hearing so that we can choose the things that are good and reject the things that are bad. Speaker 2. Yes, that is so important because if we're not aware, we might not realize how much we are being influenced by the media and popular culture. Speaker 3. I think it's also very important to create our own culture as well, so we are not just following the trends, but also making our own choices. That's a very important aspect to consider. So that was a very interesting discussion. about the influence of popular culture. What do you think? Is popular culture good or bad for society? Remember to always be critical. Let's go to the next topic now. Okay, everyone, let's move on to another important topic: advancements in medical technology. How is technology changing the world of medicine? What new treatments are available now? And what can we expect in the future? Let's listen to this. Conversation, Speaker 1. I think that technology is completely changing the world of medicine and that there are so many fantastic things being developed. We can now treat diseases that we couldn't treat before, and also we can prevent many diseases from happening. It's a very exciting time. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree that it is a very exciting time and that the technology is getting better and better all the time. But I think that we need to remember that technology is also very expensive and that not everyone has access to these new treatments. I think that this raises an issue about fairness and access for all. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with that point, but I also think that technology is helping to make medicine much more accessible for people all around the world. Because of technology, people in very rural areas can now get access to medical advice, and people can also have better ways to monitor their health from the comfort of their own home. Speaker 1, I think that is very important. And I also think that the advances in medical technology will mean that people are going to live much longer and healthier lives in the future, which is amazing. Speaker 2, yes, but I do think it's important to be careful about the ethical implications of new medical technology. We need to make sure that it is used for good and not for bad, and also that it is not abused. Speaker 3. Yes, I think that is a really important point, and we need to make sure that these new advancements are used in a responsible way, and that everyone benefits from these amazing new technologies. So what do you think about the advancements in medical technology? Are you excited or worried about the future of medicine? Let's move on to the next segment now. All right, everyone, let's discuss another topic, which is the importance of education. Why is education so important? How does it impact individuals? And how does it shape society? Let's hear what these three experts have to say. Speaker 1. I believe that education is absolutely vital for every single person. I believe that it helps people to develop their skills, to learn new things, and also to reach their full potential in life. It helps people to create better futures for themselves and also for their communities. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree, and I also think that education is incredibly important for society too. A well-educated society is more likely to have more innovation and more creativity, and that helps us all to progress. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with that. And I also think that it gives people a sense of confidence and also a greater level of understanding of the world around them. It also gives people the opportunity to make more informed choices in life too, which is vital for any democracy. Speaker 1. I also think that we need to consider what type of education is most valuable for young people in today's world. We need to make sure that our education systems are preparing young people for the future of work and also for all the different challenges that they will face in life. Speaker 2. Yes, I think that we need to focus on education that promotes critical thinking, creativity, innovation, problem solving, and also communication skills. I think that these skills will be essential for the future. Speaker 3. Yes, and I also think that education should not only be about academic success, it should also help to promote a holistic approach and to develop the whole person and not just their academic ability. I think that is so important. I hope you enjoyed that conversation about education. What do you think? How important is education for you, and what do you think about the different skills they discussed? Let's move on now to the next segment. Okay, everyone, let's talk about the importance of environmental awareness. Why is it so important to be aware of the environment? What are the challenges facing our planet, and what actions can we take to help? Let's listen to this discussion with three different people. Speaker 1. I think that it's really important that everyone is aware of the environment and the challenges that we are facing now. Our planet is under great pressure because of all the pollution and the climate change, and I really believe we all need to do everything we can to make the situation better. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree that we need to be very aware of these challenges and that we need to make changes to the way we live. We need to reduce our carbon footprint, and we also need to protect our wildlife and our natural environment. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree. And I also believe that we need to put pressure on governments and also big corporations to make significant changes. We need to take collective action in order to create real change in the world. Speaker 1. Yes, I agree. It's very important for everyone to take individual responsibility, but it's also very important that we hold big corporations and governments to account as well. There is a lot that needs to be done. Speaker 2. I also think that we need to teach younger generations about the importance of environmental awareness so that they will grow up understanding how we all need to work together to protect our planet for the future. Speaker 3. Yes, education is vital, and we need to learn to live in a much more sustainable way. We need to be more mindful of the choices that we make every day so that we can help to protect our planet. That was a really important conversation about environmental awareness. What do you think? What actions do you think you can take to help protect our planet? I think that is something that we all need to think about. Let's move on to our final discussion today. All right, everyone, let's explore our final topic today: the importance of community. Why is community so important? What is the role of community in our society? And how does it impact our lives? Let's listen to this discussion with 3 different people. Speaker 1. I believe that community is absolutely essential for all of us. It helps to provide us with support, it helps us feel more connected to other people, and it helps us to feel that we belong to something bigger than ourselves. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that community is vital, and I also believe that it helps to make us feel more safe, more secure, and it also helps to create a sense of togetherness, which is very important. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree. And it can help people to feel less lonely and less isolated, especially if they are new to an area or if they are having challenges in their lives. A strong community can really help people through difficult times. Speaker 1. I also think that a community should be open and inclusive for everyone. It's important that everyone is welcomed and that everyone feels accepted for who they are. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree. It is very important to create a community that is very open, that is very accepting and very inclusive, no matter what their background is. It should be a community where everyone feels safe. Speaker 3. Yes, and I think that everyone can do their part to help create a strong community by being kind, by being respectful, and by being open to meeting new people and working together. What an important and insightful discussion. What do you think about the importance of community? Do you feel part of a community? And how does that make you feel? I think that it is such an important aspect of our lives. So, that is the end of our discussions for today, and I hope you have found them all useful and thought-provoking. Okay, everyone, for our final discussion today, we are going to be talking about the importance of creativity. Why is it so important to be creative? What are the benefits of expressing ourselves creatively? And how does creativity help us? Let's listen to a conversation between 3 people. Speaker 1. I think that creativity is absolutely vital for everyone, and that it is important to find time to be creative every day. I believe that it helps you to express your feelings and your emotions in ways that you cannot do in any other way. Creativity is also very important for problem solving. 2. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree with that. And I also believe that creativity is very important for our well-being. It can help us to reduce stress and anxiety, and it is also a great way to get lost in something that you really enjoy and that you are passionate about. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with both of those points, and I also think that creativity is essential for society. It helps us to innovate, it helps us to make progress, and it also helps us to find new and better ways of doing things. Speaker 1. I think it is so important that schools and educational systems encourage creativity from a very young age. We all need the opportunity to express our creativity in whatever way we choose. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree with that. And I also think that it is important to have access to the resources that you need, such as space, time, and materials. And also having access to mentors and teachers who can support you on your creative journey. Speaker 3. Yes, that is so important, and we all need to value creative expression in all its forms and make sure that everyone has the opportunity to have access to that every single day. And it is also important to remember that creativity does not only mean being an artist, it can also mean being creative in science or in problem solving or in anything you do. It is important to value all types of creativity. What a thought-provoking conversation. What do you think about the importance of creativity? How do you express your creativity? I hope that this inspires you to be creative in your life. Okay, everyone, let's continue with another really important topic, the importance of empathy and compassion. Why are empathy and compassion so important? How do they impact individuals, and how do they impact society? Let's listen to a discussion with 3 people who are explaining their thoughts on this. Speaker 1. I believe that empathy and compassion are incredibly important. Empathy is the ability to understand how other people are feeling, and compassion is the ability to feel for them and to help them when they are in need. Both of those things are incredibly important for creating a kind and caring society. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree. And I think that if more people had empathy and compassion, then the world would be a much better place for all of us. These are qualities that we need to try to develop and also to try to encourage in other people too, and especially in younger people. I think this will create a better future for all of us. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree with that. And I also think that if we lack empathy and compassion, then there will be a lot of injustice and there will be a lot of suffering in the world. So they are vitally important. I think it's important to think about others and not only about ourselves. I believe that is key for a happy life and also a happy world. Speaker 1. Yes, I agree, and I also think that empathy and compassion are not just feelings, but they are also actions too. We have to be prepared to help people when they need it and to offer support and kindness whenever possible. That's what a community is all about. Speaker 2. Yes, that's so important. It's not enough to just think about it. We need to put it into action and demonstrate it in our everyday lives. By helping other people, we help ourselves too, and we create a much nicer environment around us. Everyone benefits from kindness. Speaker 3. Yes, and we can all do our part. We can all be kinder, we can all be more compassionate, and we can all make the world a better place by starting with our immediate communities. So, what do you think? Do you think empathy and compassion are important? What do you do to be kind to other people? I think these are very important things to consider for a good life and also a good society. So let's think about this and try to make positive changes. Now let's go to the next discussion. All right, everyone, let's now discuss the importance of critical thinking. Why is critical thinking so important? How can we develop our critical thinking skills? And why is it so important for our society? Let's listen to the opinions of these 3 experts. Speaker 1. I believe that critical thinking is an incredibly important skill that we all need to develop. We need to be able to question information, to evaluate evidence, and to come to our own conclusions, instead of just accepting everything that we are told. I think this is a skill that we all need to learn and we all need to use. Speaker 2. Yes, I agree that critical thinking is so important, and it's vital for problem solving and also decision making. We need to be able to analyze information and to evaluate whether it is true or not. If we don't have critical thinking skills, then we are much more vulnerable to being manipulated. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree. We need to be very careful about the information that we receive, because we are living in a world with so much information that we need to know how to filter and process it. If we don't have critical thinking skills, then we are not able to see the difference between facts and opinions, and this can be very dangerous. Speaker 1. I also think that critical thinking is important in all aspects of life, from making personal choices to making global decisions. And I also believe that we need to teach these critical thinking skills to younger generations so that they can make their own decisions in the future. Speaker 2, yes, I agree. And I think that is very important, that it is something that we need to practice every day. It's not something that is just a theoretical concept. We need to use critical thinking in all aspects of our lives so that we are making better choices. Speaker 3, yes, I agree. It is a vital life skill that we all need to have, and we need to keep improving our critical thinking skills every day so that we can make better and more informed choices, and we can help to improve our society as a whole. So, that was a really interesting discussion about critical thinking. What do you think? Do you use critical thinking every day? How do you use critical thinking to evaluate information? Let's think about these questions, and let's move on to the next topic. Okay, everyone, let's now discuss the importance of cultural awareness. Why is cultural awareness so important? Why do we need to learn about different cultures? And how can this impact our lives? Let's hear what these 3 different speakers have to say about this. Speaker 1, I believe that it is so important that we learn about different cultures in the world. It helps us to understand the world in a much more complete way, and it also helps us to understand different perspectives and different viewpoints. I believe that if we have more cultural awareness, then we can all live together in peace and harmony. Speaker 2, yes, I completely agree with that. And I also think it is very important to challenge our own perspectives and to learn more about how people live in different ways around the world. I think that we can learn so much by being more open-minded and by being more aware of the different cultures that exist in our world. Speaker 3, yes, I completely agree. And I also think that when we have more cultural awareness, then it helps us to challenge our own biases and also our own assumptions, and we can then see the world from a much more well-rounded point of view and also to be much more respectful of other cultures as well. Speaker 1, I also think that by learning about other cultures, we can also learn a lot about our own culture too, because we can often compare and see the differences between the different cultures, and that is very important. Speaker 2, yes, that is a great point, and also it's important to remember that everyone is different, and that we must respect each other's differences. And also we can learn so much from each other by sharing our own traditions. Speaker 3, yes, it's really important to try to celebrate diversity and to learn as much as we can from all the different cultures in the world. It makes for a much more interesting world, and it also makes for a much more harmonious world as well. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation about cultural awareness. How do you learn about other cultures? How does it impact your life and your perspective of the world? Let's move on to our next discussion now. All right, everyone, let's discuss another important topic, which is about the role of technology in our lives. How does technology impact the way that we live, the way we work, and the way we communicate with each other? Is it mostly positive, or are there some negative aspects as well? Let's hear what these experts have to say. Speaker 1, I think that technology has completely changed our lives in so many different ways, and it has become an essential part of our daily routine for so many of us. It can help us to be more connected, more efficient, and it can also help us to learn new things as well. But I also think that it is important to be critical about our use of technology because there are also many dangers involved as well. Speaker 2, yes, I totally agree that technology has so many positive benefits. However, we must remember that it can also be very addictive, and that it can also disconnect us from the people around us, and that it can also be harmful for our mental health as well. Speaker 3, yes, I completely agree, and I also think that it's important to remember that technology is not always a good thing, and it can increase inequality, it can also spread misinformation, and it can also be used to control us. So, we must always be vigilant about how we use it. Speaker 1, yes, I think it is so important to be mindful of how we are using technology every day, and we must make sure that we are not spending too much time on technology, and we are making time for other activities as well. Speaker 2, I also think that it's important to be very aware of data protection and to think carefully about how we are sharing our personal information online. We need to be safe and responsible in everything that we do online. Speaker 3, yes, I agree completely. And I think that education is vital so that everyone knows how to use technology safely and responsibly so that we can all benefit from it. And I think we all need to take responsibility for how we use technology so that it helps us all instead of harming us all. I hope you enjoyed that discussion. What do you think about technology? Do you think it has a positive impact on your life? Or are you worried about the negative consequences? Let's go to the next discussion now. Okay, everyone, let's talk about a very important topic: the importance of kindness and compassion in our society. Why are kindness and compassion so important? What impact can they have on our communities? And what can we all do to be kinder to each other? Let's listen to this discussion from 3 different experts. Speaker 1. I think that kindness and compassion are essential for creating a good and positive society. If we are all kind to each other, if we are all compassionate to other people's pain and suffering, then this world would be such a better place for all of us. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree. And I think it is so important to put ourselves in other people's shoes so that we can understand their perspective and to act with kindness. It is so simple to be kind, and it makes such a big difference to other people's lives. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree, and I also believe that it is so important to try to create a world that is much more kind and also much more compassionate, because that will be a world where everyone feels more valued and everyone feels more respected and everyone feels much safer. Speaker 1. I also think that small acts of kindness can make a big difference. Even just a simple smile to a stranger can brighten someone's day. And it can be so powerful to see that kindness and to pass that kindness on to other people. Speaker 2. Yes, I think it's so important to be mindful of our interactions with others and always remember that we don't always know what people are going through, so we should always try to be kind. And the more kindness we put into the world, the more kindness we will see in the world. Speaker 3. Yes, that is so true, and that is such an important message. I think it's important to always try to do your best to be kind and compassionate in all situations. And if we all did that, the world would be a much nicer place for all of us. What an important and inspiring conversation. What do you think about the importance of kindness and compassion? How do you demonstrate those qualities in your everyday life? I really think that it's something that we should all be focusing on. Let's move on to our next discussion now. All right, everyone, for our final discussion today, we are going to explore the future of education. How is education changing? What kind of skills are going to be most important in the future? And how can we make education better for all? Let's listen to this discussion. Speaker 1. I think that the education system needs to change a lot and that we need to adapt to the new world that we are living in. Education should not only be about memorizing facts, it should also be about learning critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills, and also about creativity. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree. And I think that technology should be used more widely in schools and that we need to teach young people about the skills that they are going to need for their jobs in the future. They need to be able to understand technology, and they also need to learn how to use it safely and responsibly. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with all of that. And I also think that education should be more inclusive and also more equitable too, so that all young people are able to reach their full potential, no matter what their background is. Everyone deserves to have a great education, and it is vital for the future of our society. Speaker 1, yes, I completely agree with you about inclusivity, and I think that it's important for every student to feel valued and to feel supported so that they can thrive and so that they can have a really fulfilling educational experience. It is such an important time in a young person's life. Speaker 2. Yes, and I also think that we need to teach a broad range of skills, not just academic skills, but also life skills, social skills, and communication skills too. These skills are also important to live a fulfilling life and also to be a positive member of society. Speaker 3. Yes, and I think that education should also be about learning for life and to develop a love of learning, because we should all be learning all the time and not just in school. There are so many ways to learn, and education should help us discover all of those different ways of learning. What a wonderful conversation about education. What do you think? How would you like to see education improve in the future? I think that that is something we all should consider. So, that is the end of our discussions for today. I really hope you have found them all useful and also very thought-provoking. Thank you for listening. Okay, everyone, let's continue our discussions with another very important topic, the importance of access to healthcare. Why is it so important that everyone has access to good quality healthcare? What are some of the challenges that we are facing and what needs to change? Let's listen to this discussion between three people who are sharing their opinions. Speaker 1. I believe that access to healthcare is a fundamental human right and that everyone should have access to good, quality medical care no matter what their background is or what their financial situation is. It is a basic right that should be available to all. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that healthcare should be a basic human right. However, in many countries, people do not have access to the care that they need, and that is not fair at all. I think that we need to ensure that all governments are providing healthcare to their citizens. It is essential for a healthy society. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with that. And I think it is so important to make sure that healthcare is affordable for everyone, because it's not fair that people cannot get the medical care they need just because they don't have enough money. We have to have a fairer system so that everyone can get the care they need. Speaker 1. I also think that it is important to focus on prevention and not only on treatment. We need to make sure that people are well educated about how to take care of their health and about how to stay well and how to prevent illness in the first place. Speaker 2. Yes, that is a very good point. And I also think that we need to focus on all aspects of healthcare, from mental health to physical health and also to dental health, because all of these are equally important and they can all affect a person's overall well-being. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with all of that, and I think it is so important to have a healthcare system that is very inclusive and that provides all the care that people need and also respects and protects their basic human rights. What do you think about that? How do you feel about the healthcare system in your country? Do you think that it is fair? What can we all do to try to make sure that everyone has access to good quality medical care? Let's move on now to our next discussion. All right, everyone, let's talk about the importance of lifelong learning. Why is it so important that we never stop learning? How can lifelong learning impact our lives? And how can it benefit our communities? Let's listen to this discussion with three different experts. Speaker 1. I believe that learning is a lifelong journey and that we should all continue to learn new things throughout our lives. It doesn't stop when we finish school or university. We should keep learning every single day because it keeps our mind active and also it helps us to continue to grow as people. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that lifelong learning is so very important, and I also believe that it helps us to adapt to all the changes that are happening in the world around us, because the world is changing very fast, and we need to be able to adapt to those changes. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with both of those points, and also I believe that it helps us to discover our passions and our interests. And it also helps us to find new challenges to help keep us motivated and also to keep us stimulated and interested in the world. Speaker 1. I also think that lifelong learning can be so beneficial for our mental health and for our well-being. It gives us a goal to strive towards, and it makes us feel more positive and also more fulfilled as well. I really believe that learning can bring you joy. Speaker 2. Yes, and I think that it is vital to learn new skills and to keep developing your skills in your chosen career so that we can all continue to progress and develop in our jobs and be the best that we can be. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree. And it also creates a sense of purpose, and it helps us to feel more involved in our communities and in society. By constantly learning, we can help to improve ourselves and also the world around us, too. That was a really fascinating discussion about lifelong learning. What do you think? What new skills would you like to learn? What do you do to make sure that you keep learning throughout your life? Let's move on to our next topic now. Okay, everyone, let's talk about the importance of creativity and innovation. Why are creativity and innovation so essential? How do they help to change our world? And what are the implications if we lack creativity and innovation? Let's listen to this discussion with 3 experts. Speaker 1. I think that creativity and innovation are so vital for all aspects of life, and they allow us to think of new ways to solve problems and also new ways to make progress. If we lack creativity, then we are going to just stay the same and not move forward. So it is absolutely essential. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that creativity and innovation are vital because they are the foundations of all progress. And also, they can help us to find new solutions to the many problems that we are facing today in the world. From environmental problems to social problems or economic problems, there are so many new solutions that can be found by thinking more creatively. Speaker 3. Yes, I agree with that. And I think it's also important to remember that creativity is not just for artists, it is for everyone. Everyone has the ability to be creative, and we should all try to nurture this quality. Speaker 1. I agree. And I think that creativity is so important for mental health too. It can help us to release emotions, to express ourselves, and also to find joy in all of the things that we do. Speaker 2. Yes, and I think that if we don't encourage creativity, then we are going to be restricting our potential for progress. It is vital that we nurture that and that we help to promote creative thinking in everything that we do. Speaker 3. Yes, and if we lack innovation, we will not be able to adapt to changes in the world. So these are absolutely vital things for our society to progress. Innovation and creativity go hand in hand. What an amazing and thought-provoking conversation about creativity and innovation. What do you think? How do you express your creativity? What new innovations do you hope to see in the future? I think it's very important that we keep considering these questions. Let's move on now to our next discussion. All right, everyone, let's discuss another really important topic: the importance of diversity and inclusion. Why are diversity and inclusion so important? How can it benefit our communities, and how does it affect us all? Let's listen to this conversation with 3 different people. Speaker 1. I believe that diversity and inclusion are absolutely essential for a thriving society, and that we need to make sure that everyone is welcomed and accepted, no matter what their background is or their beliefs are. We are all different, and those differences should be celebrated. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree that diversity and inclusion are very important, and I think that when we have more diverse communities, it makes us all more creative, more interesting, and more vibrant. We all have so much to offer the world, and it is vital to see everyone's different perspectives and learn from each other. Speaker 3. Yes, I totally agree, and I think that it is very important to create a society that is free from discrimination and also free from prejudice, and that everyone has the same rights and also the same opportunities. I think that that is vital for a happy and peaceful world, where we can all live together in harmony. Speaker 1. I also think that a diverse workplace is a much better workplace because you get so many more different ideas and so many more viewpoints from different people, and that allows for more innovation, more creativity, and a much more positive working environment as well. Speaker 2. Yes, and it's important to make everyone feel included, and not just to say that they are included. We need to make people feel welcomed. We need to make them feel valued, and we need to make them feel safe. If we all did that, then the world would be such a better place. Speaker 3. Yes. And I think that by creating more inclusive communities, we will all benefit because we can learn so much more, and we can grow, and we can also become better people too. What a wonderful and inspiring conversation about diversity and inclusion. What do you think about that? Do you live in a diverse community? Do you think it is important to celebrate our differences? I think we all need to consider these questions. Let's move on to our next topic now. Okay, everyone, let's discuss the importance of responsible consumption. What does responsible consumption mean? How does our consumption impact the planet? And what actions can we take to be more responsible consumers? Let's listen to This discussion from 3 different people. Speaker 1, I believe that responsible consumption is absolutely essential if we want to protect our planet. We need to be very aware of the impact of our choices, and we need to reduce our consumption and make more sustainable choices in all aspects of our lives. We really need to think carefully about all the things that we buy and how that affects the environment. Speaker 2, yes, I totally agree with that. And I think it's really important to reduce our waste, and also to reuse and to recycle whenever possible. We also need to be aware that our planet has limited resources, and we must try to protect those resources for the future. Speaker 3, yes, I think it's really important to be aware of where our products are coming from and how they have been made, and to try to buy things that are ethical and also sustainable. We should all try to make more conscious choices about the way we shop. Speaker 1, I also think that we need to put pressure on big corporations and on governments to make changes and to use much more sustainable practices. We cannot do everything ourselves. It has to be a collective effort from everyone. Speaker 2, yes, I think it's important to educate younger generations on the importance of responsible consumption so that they have the knowledge to make better choices. If we educate them about it now, then it will be easier to change habits for the future. Speaker 3, yes, I completely agree, and I think that it's important to buy less, to buy better quality products, and also to think carefully about all of the purchases that we make every day. We all need to make better choices and work together to create a more sustainable world. What a very important and thoughtful conversation about responsible consumption. What do you think? How can you change your consumption habits? What do you think we should all be doing to make the planet a better place? Let's think about those questions, and let's move on to our next discussion. All right, everyone, let's now talk about the importance of mental health awareness. Why is it so important to be aware of our mental health? What are some of the things that we can do to look after our mental health? And how can we help to support other people who are struggling? Let's listen to a discussion with 3 different people who have many different viewpoints on this topic. Speaker 1, I believe that it is so important to talk about mental health because it is just as important as our physical health. I think that everyone should be aware of their mental health and that they should feel able to seek help and support if they need it without feeling ashamed or stigmatized. Speaker 2, yes, I completely agree, and I think that there needs to be a lot more open conversations about mental health so that people can feel safe and comfortable talking about their emotions. We need to create a more supportive environment for everyone. Speaker 3, yes, I agree, and I also think that it is really important to educate people on how to look after their mental health and how to manage their stress and their anxiety so that people know what to do if they are having problems and also how to help other people around them too. Speaker 1, I also think it is important to remember that everyone has mental health, and we should all try to be mindful of how we can support ourselves and also how we can support other people in our communities. We need to be kind and compassionate to others and to try to create a supportive environment for all. Speaker 2, yes, we should all try to be kind to ourselves as well and practice self-care and look after ourselves and try to take a step back when we need to and not to burn out. And we should also learn when to ask for help when we are finding things difficult. Speaker 3, yes, and I think that we need to create a society where we are all able to talk openly about mental health and also to support each other without any judgment because it is something that affects so many people. What a wonderful and honest conversation about mental health awareness. What do you think? Do you look after your mental health? What do you do to support your own well-being and the well-being of others? This is such a vital topic, and it is something that we all need to be aware of. Okay, everyone, let's explore. The importance of lifelong friendships. Why are friendships so important? How do they impact our lives? And what are the best ways to maintain good friendships throughout our lives? Let's listen to this discussion with 3 different people. Speaker 1, I believe that friendships are incredibly important because they help us to feel more connected and also more supported in life. Having friends is so vital because we all need to have people that we can talk to and we can rely on. Speaker 2. Yes, I completely agree. And I also think that having good friends can also help us to feel happier and also healthier too. Good friendships can be so beneficial for our well-being, and I think that everyone should try to invest in good quality friendships. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree with that. And I also believe that friendships can help us to learn and to grow as people. Because our friends can challenge us, and they can also support us, and they can give us different perspectives on the world. Speaker 1. I also think that it's so important to make time for our friends, even when we are very busy. It's important to nurture those relationships. We need to make a conscious effort to spend time with the people that are important to us, and friendships are very, very important. Speaker 2. Yes, I totally agree with that. And I think that good friendships also take time and care and also attention, and that is something that we should all invest in. It's important to work at it and not just assume that friendships will always remain. Speaker 3. Yes, and I think it is vital to be a good friend and to offer support to your friends and also to be kind to them. It's so important to be there for your friends when they need you. That's what true friendship is all about. What a wonderful and insightful conversation about friendships. What do you think? What makes a good friend? What do you do to nurture your friendships? I think these are things that we should all be considering and working towards. Let's move to the next topic now. All right, everyone, let's talk about the importance of having a growth mindset. What is a growth mindset? Why is it important? And how can we develop a growth mindset in our lives? Let's hear what these experts have to say about that. Speaker 1. I believe that having a growth mindset is absolutely essential if we want to reach our full potential in life. With a growth mindset, we see challenges as opportunities for learning and for growth, and we see failures as an opportunity to learn and to improve ourselves. It's a very important way to approach life. Speaker 2. Yes, I agree with that. And I also think that a growth mindset helps us to become more resilient in the face of adversity, and that we can learn to persevere and not to give up so easily. We can learn to develop our skills, and we can learn to develop our minds too. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree that having a growth mindset is very powerful. And also when we have a growth mindset, we are more open to new ideas, and we are more willing to challenge ourselves. And we're also more likely to learn from our mistakes and to try new things, which is so important. Speaker 1. I also think that a growth mindset is something that we can all develop. It's not something that you are just born with. You can learn it through practice and by trying to challenge ourselves every single day. Speaker 2. Yes, and I think that if we nurture our growth mindset, it can help to inspire us to keep going and to keep learning, and also to believe in ourselves and to be much more confident. So it's a really useful thing to focus on. Speaker 3. Yes, I completely agree. And I also think that if we have a growth mindset, then we will believe in ourselves and we will also be much more open to new ideas and also to challenges, and we will be much more able to reach our goals. What a fantastic and inspirational conversation. Do you have a growth mindset? How do you use that to challenge yourself and to grow as a person? Do you think you can develop it? I think that we all can. Let's move on to the last discussion today. And that's it, everyone. That brings us to the end of our in-depth discussions and debates. I really hope you have enjoyed listening to all the different topics that we have covered and that you have been inspired to think about the world around you. We have explored a whole variety of different topics, and we have heard a lot of different viewpoints too. I really hope that these discussions have challenged you and that they have made you think about things from a different perspective. And I also hope that they have inspired you to learn and also to grow as people. Slight pause. We have talked about some really important issues, such as the ethics of AI, the future of work, the challenges of globalization, and the importance of education, and also the importance of our mental health too. We have also explored the role of creativity, innovation, empathy, and compassion, and so many more. Very vital topics. And I hope that these discussions have given you some food for thought, and also that they have improved your English language skills too, as well. Slight pause. I believe that the ability to listen carefully and also to think critically is so essential for all of us. So I hope that these episodes have helped you to develop those skills. And I hope that you can use these skills in your own lives and in your own communities. Slight pause. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey and for listening so attentively to all of these different discussions. And I really hope that you have found them to be useful and very inspiring. Remember that learning English is a process, and it takes time, and it also takes effort to improve. But if you keep going, and if you keep practicing, you will get better, and you will improve every single day. So do not lose heart and believe in yourself, and remember that we are all on this learning journey together. Slight pause. I really do appreciate all of your support and all of your encouragement, and I am here to help you whenever you need it. So please do get in touch if you have any questions or if you just want to share your progress, because we love to hear from you all. And please do subscribe to the channel for more episodes so that we can all learn and grow together. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again very soon. Goodbye for now.